The Ticket Crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show, brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street.
Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: frost likely this morning, and sunny, breezy, and much warmer this afternoon. We'll see a high around 64. Tonight, clear skies, and it will be breezy. See a low around 45. And tomorrow, sunshine returns. It'll be windy and warm with a high around 74. Meteorologist Kyle Click for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Fall is here, which means it's time to dive into a new lineup of autumn flavors at Wings and Rings. Your home away from home during football season. Their all-star lineup of wing sauces is adding 2 new impact players, curry garlic and pumpkin chili. Need something delicious before kickoff? How about starting your meal with their brand new chorizo nachos and loaded fries? You better act fast. These new tastes of autumn won't be here long. So make the trip to one of their 2 Lincoln locations today on O Street or Village Lane.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show. Join the Ticket Crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show, brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Tavern 180, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer.
Blitz is on. Taylor picks it up. Fires. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Canadian Football League Grey Cup champion.
Taylor again, wide open.
And first-team All-American quarterback Steve Taylor.
5 for Steve Taylor. That is a new Nebraska record.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, former All-American quarterback Steve Taylor.
We are live from Lincoln here at 93.7 The Ticket Studios. Steve is out today, and we will see if we can get a hold of Keithen McCant. We're trying to get another I shouldn't say old, an older quarterback, old Nebraska quarterback on to talk about Nebraska and Indiana. We'll see if we can run him down. If not, we at least have Austin in the booth with us. And Austin, I'd like to appreciate you. Just had to grab you from the other production studio, so I don't know if you're busy, but
we find time to go on there.
Yeah. It's always...
I'm basically the same. No, I wouldn't make that joke. I was not the same quarterback that Steve Taylor was, or Keithen McCant for that matter. But I'm just a guy. I'm just hanging out. Let's talk some sports, Bach. What you got?
Yeah, well, it's never a bad time, and I always like it when personalities, I suppose, that don't necessarily cross over in planned time get to kind of catch up a little bit on how the football season has been and what you kind of think going into this week. I have drawn a little bit of criticism for being a little bit skeptical about whether Nebraska can get it done against Indiana. What are your thoughts going into this game? Are you holding your breath?
I think that many things can be true at once, right? Because there's a part of me that thinks that the bye week came at the perfect time for Nebraska, that the defensive line, I think, could have used a little bit of a breather, that the linebackers maybe needed a chance to regroup. Secondary was playing pretty well, all things considered. So that's a group I don't think loves the week off, but we'll take it to prepare for what is a undeniably deep and talented wide receiver core from Indiana. On the flip side, Indiana's good. Like, Indiana's legit. I know people are going to point at their schedule. Who have they played? Doesn't really matter. They've won 6 games, right? One more game than Nebraska's won, and they're doing it in year 1 of a new coach, right? So big credit to Kurt Cignetti and his team for coming out on fire, for playing well. Has it been the most daunting schedule? Absolutely not. But they've still managed it, and they've handled it really well. Their best win, Maryland, devalued by a loss at Northwestern, but maybe we're underrating Northwestern again, right? The pesky Wildcats are doing their thing. Maybe we all should have seen that coming. So it can be true that Nebraska is a deserved underdog, and that Nebraska is also the stiffest test Indiana will have seen to date. The things that give me optimism for Nebraska are that I don't think this Indiana team wanted its bye week with how it's been playing offensively. I think this is a team that with its offense, it wanted to keep the good times, good vibes rolling as long as it could. And the hope is that this is a little interruption to their schedule, that they come in maybe just a little bit off. Nebraska takes advantage early in the game of any shakiness, any wobbliness, any miscommunications, missed timings. And then the defense really gets its feet underneath it, and Indiana's kind of in panic mode. Defense locks it down. I think that Indiana's defense is gettable. But this is where I'm not sure about Nebraska's offense. We haven't seen him play a full 60 minutes. Purdue's defense is not good. And I get, you can say, yeah, well, Nebraska moved the ball against Purdue in the first half, just didn't put the ball, through the uprights, really, with the missed field goals and the blocked field goal and everything. So if that's a 37-10 win instead of a 28-10 win, sure, we're probably feeling a little bit better about that Purdue win than we did coming out of it. But my guess is this is a game that ends in the upper 20s to lower 30s for each team. Probably not quite a who gets the ball last style of game, but we've seen Indiana's offense put up numbers. We haven't seen it nearly as consistently from Nebraska. So my hope is that Nebraska's offense needed the bye week to regroup, to give Dylan Raiola a bit of a mental break, to get on the same page for the running game. They put something new in, or they honed what they've been doing. They come out firing all cylinders, and they'll do it for a full 60-minute football game. And I think going on the road actually benefits Nebraska here. Yeah. I think having to get up a day early to get out there gets the juices flowing a little bit sooner than it does for Indiana. A lot of things pointing Indiana's way, and a fair number pointing Nebraska's way. Am I picking the Huskers to win? Not right now. Will I talk myself into it by Friday when I make my final pick, or by Saturday morning kickoff? I will.
Well, it's funny, and I hang out with Chancellor Bruin through the afternoon shows coming up next with Mikey Daniel, the locker room. And he's just surprised by a few folks that maybe don't pick Nebraska every game, or feel like if it's a coin flip game that you don't pick Nebraska. I try to tell him, like, I've been here since 2013 picking, trying my best to pick Nebraska week in, week out. I don't want to hold the past against them. Of course, I hope this is the year, year 2 under Matt Rule. He shouldn't have to pay for the sins of Mike Riley and Scott Frost, but it just kind of falls into one of those categories. And of course, Matt Rule's got his own categories this week, top 25 teams, right? Yeah. I mean, that's something that he nor Nebraska has done very well. So a chance to kind of break those streaks. But a couple of the other guys I hung out with just this last hour, Rashawn Jackson Todd Euler, former offensive players, have said that if they won the coin toss, if you're Nebraska, they would take the ball first. Is that because they're former offensive players, or do you think that there could be something to that? And then Indiana has not trailed at all this season, so you have a chance to kind of rock them there. They're going to have a crazy amount of momentum. First sellout since 2021. Big news in town. The eyes of college football are on Indiana, and so maybe Indiana, you could kind of take the juice out of the room if you're able to go in there and get a touchdown. What would you say?
I love discussions like this because so much of the decision is judged based on what happened, not the thought process that went into it. Because in my head, yes, absolutely, sure, take the ball first, put Indiana down. But guess what? These guys have played enough football. They've trailed at some point in their lives. Do you think they're talking to each other in the locker room? Guys, we haven't trailed all year. We're through 6 games. We're not going to trail all year. Come on. That's silly.
It's like if Nebraska gives up a rushing touchdown, they're just going to pack up and leave.
It's been a good season. We tried. No, that's not the mindset. That's not the mentality. If it works, if Nebraska goes down and scores and wins the game, it's, Nebraska sent a message early. Nebraska got in their heads. Indiana was rattled from there. If Nebraska gets the ball first, goes down the field, scores, and loses, who cares? Right. If Nebraska declines, Indiana, goes right down the field on Nebraska's defense, scores first possession, and wins a one-possession game, it's, Nebraska took the ball first like we wanted them to. Could have sent a message. They didn't do it. But then if Nebraska defers and Indiana, doesn't score, it's, good. I'm glad Matt Rule put that defense back on the field. You trust the veterans. You trust Tony White. He made the right decision. You can rationalize it any way you want. So honestly, I don't care. Just win the dang game.
Yeah. Very, very true. And I think too, like normally I wouldn't even ask that, but I think there's like circumstances to where it makes sense. Like generally, you're not going to get penalized as a coach. We'll never second guess you for saying we'll take the ball in the second half. That's kind of standard. That's what you do.
Right.
So
it's more of a discussion when we get to overtime. But before the first 60 minutes, I do not really care.
Well, and they've said the same thing. These are offensive guys once again. They said the same thing about that overtime against Illinois, and I just cannot fathom or rationalize that in my mind. Like because then that just strategically, you're not playing chess at that point because you don't know what you need to get. So I just there's no way I'd take the ball first in overtime.
And see, that's the thing, because DP also said he would have taken the ball first in overtime, especially if you're the offense, right? Hey, we feel pretty good. We've moved the ball decently today. And the defense wasn't playing its best game, to be fair. But at the same time, what message does that send that defense? Hey, you haven't been playing well. We don't trust you. We're giving the ball to the offense first because we assume you're going to give up points. But even with that logic, give up the points first so you know what you have to do. Yeah, it puts pressure on your offense. But at least you gave your defense a chance, to hold to 0 or 3. You wanted to score a touchdown to win the game anyways on offense. But now if you score a touchdown, you're faced with the decision of, did Illinois go for 2 and get it? Do we have to go for 2 to match them? Did they go for 2 and miss it? Can we just kick the extra point? Do they kick the extra point? Do we tie and play on? Or do we go for 2? So maybe that would have been the time with Nebraska's defense playing as poorly as it was to take the ball first, put the pressure on the Illinois offense and go from there. But generally speaking, you just go second in overtime. It's just what you do.
Especially with a kicking game as rocky as they were, because I mean, if the offense failed to score and then you're putting on a kicker and you don't even have confidence you're going to get anything out of the first, possession in overtime.
Right.
So it's hard for me to rationalize that. As we break down this game though and look ahead, Curtis Rourke, obviously a big obstacle for Nebraska, and probably the best quarterback they've played so far. Do they have the quarterback advantage, you think, in this game?
So DP yesterday on Old School is doing essentially quarterback eliminator. Would you rather have this guy or that guy? And I took Dylan Raiola out of the running when he faced up against Dylan Gabriel. I think Gabriel's a little better, a little more consistent right now. That's just what I said yesterday. But we didn't get to the Dylan Raiola versus Curtis Rourke ability, right? When you think about Rourke, he's made every throw Indiana's asked him to make this year. He's completing, darn near 75% of his passes this year. What's his ceiling? It seems higher than it was at Ohio. He was a good player at Ohio, good player in the MAC, but doing it against Big Ten competition like he's done for a couple weeks now, it's another feather in the cap. You got to give him credit for stepping his game up a little bit. Rourke's good. The reason I don't know who has the advantage right now is because we haven't seen Dylan Raiola respond to a bye week. We know he came out and he played pretty darn well against UTEP, right, with all offseason to prepare, but he has seemed a little I don't know the best way to phrase it, but is there the same verve, the same joy, the same energy from Dylan Raiola? I don't know. I don't think he's hitting a freshman wall, right? Don't get me wrong. He's not making a bunch of bad decisions. The level of competition has stepped up, right? It absolutely has. From Illinois, you get the win at Purdue, and then tough fought game against Rutgers. So I don't know how much of it is Dylan Raiola is, kind of beat up. He's been hit a little bit the last few weeks, especially against Rutgers in Illinois. How much of it is he's feeling it a little bit, he needed a week off to re-energize, to recuperate, or how much of it is just, it's kind of a grind for him. You're halfway through a season, and what's being asked of him is more than in high school. You're not in the best shape of your college career as a freshman. So I think extra conditioning would probably do Dylan Raiola some good, which is why the bye week, I think, came at the right time. He has 6 weeks to go back, look at, see what have I done well, what have I not done as well, what can we improve on moving forward. So my gut tells me it's been another focused, prepared week for him, and that he'll come out looking better than he has the last few weeks. But then again, you go to an amped up environment, the first really amped up environment I think he's going to face this year in terms of a road crowd. How does he handle the plane ride? How does he handle the week off? Is he ready to go? Does he ease into it? Does he jump right into it? We still just don't know how a freshman has handled a bye week, how this freshman has handled a bye week. So I think Dylan Raiola's ceiling is higher, but we've also seen Curtis Rourke unleashed. We haven't necessarily seen Dylan Raiola unleashed. Hey, go win us this game. I'm not saying he's not ready for it. I'm just saying we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, too, some people might be, not want to hear that. Say, well, obviously, we got Dylan Raiola. That's the best player ever. And, you want to get there. But really, it's a compliment to Dylan to really even say that at this point. You're talking about, what, a fifth-year senior against a true freshman. Generally, you're going to say, well, usually the senior is going to have the edge there. And he might. But a lot of it, too, is if kind of, you'd have to do the old thing of put Dylan on Indiana's offense, put Curtis in Nebraska's offense, and kind of wonder how that would work, too. And that's where I think, Dylan, yes, maybe had a struggle against, in his last outing against Rutgers. But the key to me in this game is to provide Dylan some help in the ground game.
Sure.
I mean, and I don't know, we've seen it before where you have second half breakout seasons. Divina Zigbo did it. Now it's been a few years, but it has been. And do you see that in that room? Do you think anybody can get this ground game rolling, either even individually or collectively, to provide Dylan some help?
The comparison I'm going to draw here is that the Nebraska running back room strikes me as Nebraska men's basketball. You don't know necessarily who's going to go off any given day, but you want to figure that out pretty early, right? And I think the onus is put on, obviously, Marcus Satterfield as the play caller, but also on a running back to establish themselves early. I know Nebraska wants to be a fourth quarter running team, but if you want to run the ball in the fourth quarter, don't you also have to kind of establish that in the first? Running backs got to start fast, and then if Nebraska goes away from it in the middle of the game, just have started well enough, be in rhythm enough to finish in the fourth quarter. I don't care which running back it is. Quite honestly, I don't. I have my personal preferences, but I'm with you. It needs to be more consistent, right? Dowdell's, for the most part, averaged over 4 yards per carry most of the games this year. Ramir Johnson has been kind of boom or bust. Emmett Johnson's been fine when he's been used, pretty good at a couple different moments. So, yeah, there's someone in there, but it's on the running backs to come out ready to go. You can't ease into a game. You really have to set that tone early. But then even more than the position group itself, it's the offensive coordinator. Will he allow the running game to get going? Will he stick with it? Because we're going to criticize him for passing the ball too much, go to the run game, or, hey, the run game's not working. You're running into a pile. Your line's not moving anyone. Why do you keep doing it just to drain clock? It's boring. It's vanilla. He's kind of in a no-win situation right now because the ground game hasn't been as effective. So, yeah, it's up to the running backs. Yeah, it's up to Marcus Satterfield. But I'm throwing the Ja'Cory Barney Jr. end arounds in the rushing category, right? That absolutely counts. Find the right moments to bust those out. Give the ground game a spark, even if it's not from, your traditional running back-based attack.
Well, I think that's why there's been a little frustration, I suppose, from the Nebraska fan base, as much as you can be at 5-1, right? On their offensive coordinator, is because they haven't been, just part of it's been special teams. You're not getting field goals when you should, but you're just not putting up, too many points. They're averaging 20 points per game if you take out the pick sixes on offense against Power 5 level competition. That's 1.5 points more than you had last year, and last year's offense was pretty bad,
right?
So you need more out of it, and I think that's the key to one, swaying me on that you're going to beat Indiana or win a lot of these games down the stretch, because all these games from now on, outside of UCLA are going to be like Indiana, where it's going to be, probably a small favorite on the opposing side.
Mm-hmm.
That can change if Nebraska's offense can wake up and can kind of add to, what their defense is doing. If the defense has to do so much of the heavy lifting, then you worry about, a team getting to 21, 24 points.
Which shouldn't be a worry. 21 to 24 should be doable. My biggest thing for the offense all year, Bach, has been, can they score a touchdown a quarter? That shouldn't be asking the world of a college football offense. That would still be a slightly below average offense if you put up 28 points per game. Now, you're going to score multiple touchdowns in some quarters, maybe a field goal add in here or there. But this offense is in a weird spot where it's both not methodical and consistent enough to score every quarter. It hits these long ruts and these drives that, last 3 plays, maybe 5 plays, and that's it. But they're also not necessarily explosive enough to make up for it. In the run game, like Matt Rule's talked about all week, and even their long passes go for 30 or 40 yards, not 60 or 70-yard house calls necessarily. So you can't just tell an offense to pick one or the other. You want to be able to grind out clock in 4-minute drill or take up a lot of a quarter and score going into halftime and get the ball back in the second. But also, if you're not going to have that ability, you actually want to bust a long play for a touchdown. Nebraska hasn't really done either, and that's why the offense is in the spot where it's at. So you can't just blame the passing game. You can't just blame the running game, because what we've seen so often is that the passing game will move Nebraska down the field. And then the offensive line isn't getting enough push to actually punch the ball in the end zone easily or consistently when you get inside the red zone. Or vice versa. Nebraska will run the ball down the field, and then they'll try to throw a couple goal line fades that don't work, miscommunication on a crosser, sack, someone gets tripped, whatever it is, and it stalls. The offense is just in a weird middle ground where it's not a bad offense by any means, but you also can't say it's a consistently dependable good offense. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. It is generally adequate. But to your point, if they can't even score 21 to 24 points, that's not good enough. So to me, it's more about how drives end for Nebraska than they have so many drives that just don't get started to begin with.
Yeah, and just comparing the points per game to last year's team, it is a different offense. It can consistently drive down the field. Eventually, at some point, like you said, it seems to stall. And then once again, special teams, where you would have, 9 more points, 6 more points here, that could certainly help. You're not finishing on those drives. So it is also an offense, I think, that I'll tease it a little bit this way. We can come back and I'll ask you, what is the strength of the offense? You're halfway through the season.
Yeah.
What is the strength of the offense? What is the go-to play? That sort of stuff. I don't know if that's completely figured out. So let's take a quick break here. This is Weekly Wrap Sessions with All-American quarterback Steve Taylor. We've got the All-American boy, Austin Orman, in with us here instead. We'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking for affordable drinks and a great atmosphere this football season? Highball Bar has you covered. Whether it's pregame tailgating, postgame festivities, or in-game celebrations, Highball Bar is the place to be. With $4 beers, $4 mixed drinks, and more during their 4 to 8 p.m. daily happy hour, Highball Bar will quickly become your go-to place to sit back, unwind, and be your team's #1 fan. Highball Bar, located in downtown Lincoln, just 3 blocks from Memorial Stadium at 122 North 11th Street.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Tavern 180, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Over 75% of the patients that come to Limitless Male have been told over and over again by their primary care providers that their testosterone level is fine. Guess what? If you have all the symptoms of low testosterone, you're not fine. Come get a second opinion at Limitless Male. We have helped tens of thousands of men feel optimal again, and we can help you. Stop waiting. Come see the men's health experts. Book your free consult online at limitlessmale.com.
Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Fall is here, which means it's time to dive into a new lineup of autumn flavors at Wings and Rings. Your home away from home during football season. Their all-star lineup of wing sauces is adding 2 new impact players, curry garlic and pumpkin chili. Need something delicious before kickoff? How about starting your meal with their brand new chorizo nachos and loaded fries? You better act fast. These new tastes of autumn won't be here long. So make the trip to one of their 2 Lincoln locations today on O Street or Village Lane.
Hey everyone, Lance here with Black Label. We specialize in creating custom crafted decks, pergolas, patio covers, and more. Plus, our retractable screens, gazebos, and patio enclosures create the ultimate outdoor retreat. With over 50 years of combined experience, we're not just builders, we're creators of unforgettable memories.
Call them today at 402-730-6333 or visit blacklabelbuilt.com for a free consultation.
Let's turn your backyard dreams into reality.
Black Label Built, built to serve, built to last.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line, here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: frost likely this morning, and sunny, breezy, and much warmer this afternoon. We'll see a high around 64. Tonight, clear skies, and it will be breezy. We'll see a low around 45. And tomorrow, sunshine returns. It'll be windy and warm with a high around 74. Meteorologist Kyle Cook for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Early break.
Anthony in the mailbag says, good morning, guys. Question for the mailbag. If you were trapped in a 10 foot by 10 foot concrete room with one animal What is the largest animal you could kill with nothing but your bare hands?
I'd like to think I could whip an ostrich.
Get a hold of his neck. He's going to whip him around. He's going to whip him around.
Early break from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to weekly rap sessions with All-American quarterback Steve Taylor on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on weekly rap sessions with All-American quarterback Steve Taylor. And Steve Taylor is out today. So in his seat, we had Austin jump in the first segment. And now we are going to welcome in Keithen McCant, of course, former Nebraska quarterback, Keithen McCant. Keithen, how are you doing today?
Doing good. How you doing, Bob?
Oh, not too bad. It's good to hear from you. Glad that we could get a hold of you and hopefully catch up a little bit on how you've been living since you've left Lincoln and what you think about the current team here. We'll start off with just that is kind of if you give a brief synopsis of what your experience was in Lincoln as a Husker.
Oh, it was a great experience. Being up back at home in Dallas. Football is huge out here, and when I was getting recruited by Nebraska. I got talked to taking a trip up to Lincoln and fell in love with the facilities, fell in love with the people, and then I had a great experience. So, really good experience in Lincoln.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And obviously, for those that don't know your story, you kind of had to wait your turn. You kind of wait in the wings until 1991. You had the opportunity and took a chance there. In your first game, I thought it was kind of interesting looking it up. First game as a start, I think it was against Colorado State, but the week before where you played a majority of that game, taking over for Mickey Joseph, you guys actually set the record for first downs, the NCAA record for first downs. Is that right?
Yeah, that was correct. I did. I had to grow up a little bit, and you move away from home, and you're kind of doing things on your own, and then I had to get things back in order. But when I came out of high school, I was a predominantly throwing quarterback, so man, I had to adjust to a lot of things as far as the system up there. So, it was a great experience, man. It taught me a lot about perseverance and sticking with things when they become tough. Kind of goes back to what's going on today. These kids want to jump into the portal so quick when things don't go their way. And sometimes you just have to take your time, and you may have to wait, but I think it teaches you a lot of things in the long run.
Yeah, that's the interesting part too. For a guy that waited your turn till your fifth year. Do you think if you were doing it in today's age that you would stick around Lincoln? Because you just don't see too many people, especially at the quarterback position, wait their time and like you said, grow up and wait to mature and get your opportunity. Do you think with the modern age of NIL and transfer portal, that'd be considerably harder to kind of do?
I believe so. Just the simple fact that there's so many different opportunities now for these kids. You're getting paid to play. So if that doesn't motivate you enough in high school, I don't know what else will. So for me to sit here and to lie and say that I would have waited, I don't know. With anything, time changes. And, if the opportunity presented itself like today with a lot of these kids, as long as you have a good team backing you as far as family and things of that nature, you make the best decision for yourself. I mean, you can't get mad at a kid for that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I did want to ask you, because you said you're primarily a passing quarterback coming out of high school. What kind of led you to Nebraska, obviously knowing that they like to run their quarterbacks a little bit more? What was it that brought you to Lincoln?
Well, I think it had a lot to do with Coach Osborne. He was like my high school coach. He just reminded me a lot of my high school coach who was like my father figure as well. And like I said, when I took a trip up there, I just kind of fell in love with the program in itself. Kids are a lot far advanced than what we were back in the day as far as knowing what they want, what offense fit them, suit them. And a lot of these kids are trying to they're thinking about the next level, you know, as a sophomore in high school now, you know what I mean? So like anything, times just change.
Yeah, fair enough. How have you been taking in the Huskers over the years? Obviously, since you left, there was a lot of success in the 90s, and then, you know, it's kind of since about, you know, the early 2000s, it's been a struggle. What has kind of been the way that you viewed this game, viewed this program over those years? You still with us, Keithen? You still there, Keithen?
To see what Bob Devaney had built, and then Coach Osborne take the batons and continue it, and even take it further. And, you know, we get spoiled there, correct? You just think things are just going to continue to. Now to see Matt Rule coming there, and I believe he's doing things the correct way. He's a kid.
And Keithen, we are we're breaking up with you a little bit, so we might. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, we're breaking up a little bit there. So maybe if you could kind of go back over what you've seen with Matt Rule so far. Still having a little bit of trouble connecting with Keithen there. Tell you what, we're going to take a quick break, try to reconnect, see if we can get a better connection with Keithen McCant, and we'll round out the show here. This is Weekly Rap Sessions with All-American quarterback Steve Taylor.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
The McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, Tottenham plays West Ham at 6:30 a.m., and then Newcastle plays Brighton at 9 a.m. To cap off the Saturday action, Arsenal plays Bournemouth at 11:30 a.m. On Sunday, Man City takes on Wolves, while Liverpool plays Chelsea to try to stay atop the EPL standings. You can catch all these matches and more at the McKinney's Irish Pub, your headquarters in Lincoln for English Premier League soccer at 8th and P.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bozin. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Nebraska is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local family business owners and proud to be involved in our community. Property tax relief is important to every family. Last year, I voted for the largest property tax relief package in Nebraska history, and I will continue to advocate for property tax relief. Vote Carolyn Bozin on November 5th. Paid for by Bozin for Legislature.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we want to thank all of our customers for a great September. And now it's time for our annual Halloween sales event happening right now at Koppel. Get 0% financing at Koppel. You heard right, 0% financing on select new models. Also, huge discounts up to $11,500 are available. It's our annual Halloween sales event. Get $11,500 off or 0% financing at Koppel. So please stop on by or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. 0% with roof credit.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Kawasaki dealership. Score big on Kawasaki's most dependable side-by-side, the Mule Pro, built to take on your most demanding days. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of October. On or off-road, Elway Powersports of Lincoln has you covered with large selection of motorcycles and side-by-sides in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Stop by every Saturday for their Husker tailgate with free food, drinks, and games.
Are you looking for affordable drinks and a great atmosphere this football season? Highball Bar has you covered. Whether it's pregame tailgating, postgame festivities, or in-game celebrations, Highball Bar is the place to be. With $4 beers, $4 mixed drinks, and more during their 4 to 8 p.m. daily happy hour, Highball Bar will quickly become your go-to place to sit back, unwind, and be your team's #1 fan. Highball Bar, located in downtown Lincoln, just 3 blocks from Memorial Stadium at 122 North 11th Street.
Here at Aspen Builders, our company is building more homes today than I thought we would ever build.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, I am just shocked at how strong our market is here in Lincoln and at Aspen Builders. We're probably helping people right now more than ever get into a new home. We've been able to find pieces of ground we can develop affordably and keep our lot prices down a little bit. I think with our volume discounts and our office staff, 35 years of experience, we figure out a plan that's going to work great for you. We make it perfect. We make it fit your price range. All of this is part of the reason we're so busy.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right, most recommended Eustace Body Shop.
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Now back to weekly rap sessions with All-American quarterback Steve Taylor on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
are back here from the 93.7 The Ticket Studios here in Lincoln, Nebraska. I am Jake Buckman, and I am joined by Keithen McCant, former Nebraska Cornhusker, starting quarterback in 1991, and in fact, Big 8 Offensive Player of the Year, so I don't want to undersell him at all as well as we get going here. And it's kind of talked about in that last segment how he got to Lincoln, kind of his thoughts in his playing days. I did want to quickly ask you, Keithen, a little bit about some of the guys you played with before we move on to the modern day. Just know, like the Will Shields, Johnny Mitchells, Calvin Jones, Derek Brown. I mean, you guys were a pretty stacked offense, were you?
Oh, absolutely. You forgot John Bostic. I mean, just a great group of guys to play with, man, and just to grow up with. You know, we were all snotty-nosed kids when we got there, but I like to think that when we were done, we were good young men, you know, and definitely Coach Osborne had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, absolutely. You never hear a bad word from a former player about Coach Osborne. Obviously, very well respected, among the most respected in the state of Nebraska. But let's move on to the current day. We kind of lost track a little bit with you, and I asked you kind of what's kind of been your viewing from the outside as you have since you have left Lincoln in the early 90s. You know, obviously they kind of went through that stretch of being the dominating team, and then the last 20 years it's kind of been a struggle. You know, how has that kind of been for you as a former standout player on the football team to watch?
Man, it's been tough. There's no doubt about it. It's been tough. But you know, if you look across, a lot of the story programs have kind of gone through their little lull, so to speak, or transition, or whatever you want to call it. When you lose great men that are great leaders of programs, it's going to affect you, correct? Until you get that right person in, right? And I believe with Matt Rule, I believe he's doing it the correct way. He's building through the high school kids. He's not dipping into the portal too much. He's dipping into where their needs are fitted. And I think he's just building it the correct way. You got the young quarterback there who's certainly solidified that position at quarterback. You definitely tell the kid is going to just continue to grow, and I think he's going to really excel. But when you're young, you got to live with some of the mistakes. So he's going to make some mistakes, but I think you know, Nebraska is going to be good for years to come. I really believe that they are doing things the correct way now. So I'm excited. And it's been a long time since I've said that. I'm excited about the program.
Yeah, it definitely is. And this weekend, you get big news. The eyes of the nation are upon you. Nebraska and Indiana, this 5-1 start. Some would argue with both these teams that they haven't been all that battle tested so far. At least their strength of schedule isn't, you know, where you know, some other teams have, maybe in the SEC or in the Big Ten. But it's definitely going to amp up for Nebraska as they move forward. What do you think is going to be the biggest obstacle for Nebraska as their competition steps up starting this week?
Personally, themselves. Themselves. And what I mean by that is, you know, under Coach Osborne and Devaney eras, there was a certain swag where when you step on the field, knowing how to win, right? And I think that's the biggest thing that Matt Rule is teaching them, the expectations of winning, you know, the expectations of making plays when you have to make a play, the expectations of no silly fouls or flags or things of that nature. So I think the biggest thing with this young team is themselves.
Yeah, I like that. And then, you know, you mentioned Dylan Riley a little bit. Kind of have to follow up that kind of quarterback to quarterback. What do you see from Dylan that makes you, you know, obviously everybody's pretty high on him, but what gives you confidence that he's the right man for the job in the years to come?
His poise as a young kid. You know, I trained a lot of quarterbacks, and I've got them some everywhere, you know, and you can just see the poise in the kid. Now, he's going to make mistakes. I mean, people got to understand this kid has just come out of high school football, right? He's going to make mistakes. I mean, that's just the maturation of the position. But you can definitely see the maturity. You can see the arm strength. You can see all the intangibles. And I believe he's just going to grow and just get better and better. And as long as the team continues to do the same, man, I'm really excited about the future.
Well, I know there's a lot of folks. I know you mentioned, you know, training some quarterbacks there. A lot of folks like to know what their former favorite players are doing these days. What have you been up to since leaving college? You know, I've played a little bit of pro ball, but kind of what are you up to these days?
Yeah, like I said, man, I have my business where I'm training kids. in the North Texas area. And, I got a kid, John Mateer, that's at Washington State, playing for Washington State, that's killing it. I got a quarterback at Rice, two actually at Rice. I mean, I got, some players everywhere, man. And it's just great to see when I've had them as little 9-year-old kids and now to see them living their dreams and doing the things that they're doing. And they're good young men. And that's the biggest deal. They're good young men. And, it's just exciting to see. So yeah, I'm excited about the program, and I'm excited about Dylan to see how he's going to grow and mature from here.
Yeah, very exciting, and maybe it sounds like you got your hands on some talent down there. Maybe you can wear your Husker hat around him once in a while or something. Maybe try to steer him toward Nebraska at some point. Steve Taylor, by the way, obviously you're filling in for him today. Would want me to at least ask you about a story of Steve. Or anything you particularly remember. I think you mentioned you guys might have been roommates at one time, or is that right?
Yeah, actually, when I came on I came early. Actually, I got there early. I came early in the summer. I wanted to get acclimated to the program, the surroundings, the university, and they actually had me stay with Steve. And man, he was such a great host. He played a big part of just watching over me, making sure I was doing the right thing. So yeah, it was cool. And you probably remember I used to love to eat his snacks.
Yeah, well, you typically have those roommate problems. That's why you got to kind of write your name on those stacks. Maybe you could have saved it a little bit there. But Keithen, any parting words for us as we get ready to wrap up the show? We'd like to thank you for coming on today.
No, man, I appreciate you guys having me anytime. And like I said, I'm excited about the program. I'm excited about the direction it's going in, and tell Matt Rule and those guys to reach out to me. There's a lot of talent in Texas. What's crazy, I used to really try to bring kids up there, and the previous guys, man, it was crazy because I'm like, these guys are good and they're going to big programs, and they wanted to be a part of Nebraska. So reach out to me. I got a lot of good kids up here, man.
Man, that is good to hear. And from all, work with a lot of former Huskers here. This coaching staff seems to be more open to that sort of thing and getting help from the former coaches, former players, and stuff like that. So definitely, hopefully we'll be able to pass that along. And thanks again for coming on the show with us.
No problem, man. Go Big Red, right?
Yeah. All right. There he goes. Keithen McCant, 1991 Big 8 Player of the Year, starting quarterback for the Huskers. Thanks again to him for coming on. That'll wrap it up this week for weekly wrap sessions with All-American quarterback Steve Taylor. Also, I'd like to thank Austin Overman for jumping in the booth with me for that first segment. Don't go anywhere. The Locker Room is coming up next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change